Hello, Commanders, and welcome to the RNG Endgame, a podcast about the game Marvel Strike Force. Your hosts are Frid and Creative. We're leaders in an alliance from a large cluster, and would like to share our insights with you to hopefully improve your gameplay and overall experience, and give you a little entertainment.
All right, Creative. We are back for episode 81. We're actually back because we were off.
Yep, I went
When
camping.
I say we, I mean you.
Yeah, I went camping, and I went with my folks, and they always pick the most remote campsites that do not have internet. So thankfully, I don't know if this breaks our terms of service, but you played, some of the basic things. And my first thought, which was sad, is they offered, for me to go along camping with them, and my first thought was, oh no, what am I going to do about my alliance? I mean, that's just a sad thought, that I have to think about this and actually worry about not screwing over 23 other people. But yes, we are back, and we've had a long holiday weekend here in the States.
Right.
But, yeah.
Yeah, this last week it was your camping. This week we're not on time because of me. I had some stuff going on, but since today is a holiday, we're recording. So at least we're back with number 81.
81.
And I guess it's been a couple of weeks. So I was trying to remember what feels like a long incremental grind. But I have started to spend a lot of gold. So there's that. So, I'm talking about 4 million a day, just trying to upgrade characters all over the place to the right, with level. I'm rank level 84 now, so trying to get to level 84 with the key characters for the raids. Remember, our alliance is a raid focused alliance, and we've been doing Doom 2. So it's important to have certain characters. So I've been slowly working my way to get those up and spending a lot of gold. I have finished Kitty Pryde to 7-star. So she's done. Had you finished her a while ago? Maybe.
Yep. I have... Iceman needs like 5 more shards, but then I'll be fully there. I'll keep going. I'll talk about mine in a minute. But yes, she's been done.
I got desperate with her with the last, I think it was 6. So I started opening orbs, and maybe about the 5th or 6th, I got her on the middle and the side, and that finished it. Right. So I had like 300,000 of those credits anyway, so might as well. And then Maria Hill did not appear, and I think it was 3 purchases, and she did not appear forever until finally it was 2 in a row and then 1 more. Haven't seen her since, but at least I got her to 5 stars.
You only needed 3? You only needed 15 shards?
15 shards, yeah.
Wow. Good for you.
I don't know where she came from, if it was a premium or some kind of other place, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she's awesome. I like that character a lot. I know you're...
Supports.
She heals, so, you're probably all excited. She brings little friends along, so yeah, I liked her. So I bought the 5th red star on her as well. Yeah, we'll talk about red stars a little bit more in a sec. Secret Avengers, including Maria, Sam, and Sharon, are now T15 and rank level 80. I keep saying rank, I don't know why. Level 80. So they're working pretty well on Doom 2, at least the first node of skill. They still need a little bit of work for the second, because it has those Silver Surfers and heal blocks all over the place with, is it Negasonic or whoever else puts heal block? It's a nightmare of a node. And at one point there's 2 Surfers, and that's super bad. But more to come. Now in the beta, I've been using skill, and it gets the job done. I'm using Shang-Chi as the 5th, along with Kestrel, of course. The most powerful character in the game, I think, still, probably. So, not much more. I can do a few levels on these guys, I guess. And that's it. I'm just waiting for them to become available to keep buying regular stars. So I move on now to the new warriors, Cloak and Dagger, to try to get them to tier 15 and level 75, 80, and so that I can do blue ISO, because apparently they are almost required for the Mystic nodes. You have a difference of opinion that you can talk about when you get to your section, but I'm going all in on these two, and hopefully we'll be able to help a lot more in the Mystic nodes.
And do you have them both at 4 yellow stars?
Not yet. Just Cloak. Dagger is halfway. So with this strike pass that's coming tomorrow, it's going to take forever, but I should
get another month. But at the end of that month, you'll have both at 4.
Both at 4, yeah. Because they gave us some extra after I bought. So I'm going to end up with a little bit of excess. We were trying to do it perfectly, but they gave us some screw up of who knows what kind of mistake. They gave us some additional luminous orbs.
So that was what we were already intended. So what they did on the first blitz is they shorted us the luminous orbs. So that's what they gave us, just to get us back to where we were supposed to be.
Oh, okay. I thought it was there were some people that got 100 of Dagger because of some bug, and I thought it was compensation. But who knows?
I don't know. We can't keep up with it anymore.
It doesn't matter. The point is, we'll have both at 4 until they become fountainable in next year sometime after 6 months of release. But Cloak apparently is the key because he does that thing where it applies a bunch of debuffs. And Dagger does too, but I think Cloak is the one that helps keep you alive.
Yep.
So, yeah. We'll see how they do once I get them up and running. Tech is a nightmare, and there's no clean answer. I'm hoping that Lady Deathstrike, who's not out yet, is the answer to this tech problem. But she's not out yet, so we'll see how she performs. I have heard Shuri's good, but I just don't have it in me to upgrade her. So I run some of the characters that I already had, like Nebula and, Doc Ock, Kestrel, Minerva. What's the other? Dr. Doom. Yeah. A Ghost. That kind of combination.
Right.
But something is missing. It just doesn't. It's very tough. And yeah, that's it. Mutant, I need to work on all the Axemen because I never did. So on my left side, that's the last of the batch. So I'm leaving them for later.
Well, let's clarify. You had the trio leveled up pretty high: Jubilee, Beast, and
yes.
Bishop. So you're really just referring to Kitty and Iceman, right?
Right, because I use the Dabros or Sinister and Emma on the Doom 1. Because Dabros are pretty high. But they don't work as well in this raid. Apparently you need Kitty and Iceman to slow things down and apply offense down and all that stuff. So those two are lacking. But I'll get them. After I finish with the new warriors and maybe Lady Deathstrike. All right, so Silver Samurai, after a long delay because of some problems with his art of the character, have been released, and the Red Star bonus is in effect. And I had 90 regular orbs. I am down to below 20.
Whoa.
I've opened several 4s that came out of that, several 5s, and a 6. And I have a 2 Red Star Silver Samurai to show.
Ouch.
And the highlight of all that was a 6 Red Star Carnage.
Oh, that's nice.
I have some other 5s and 6 that include things like Nobu and characters that were good at... Not Nobu, he's never been good, but others that were good, like Swarm a while ago, but
so
not very useful.
The listeners can't see me grimacing over here. So you get a 2 yellow or Red Star Silver, Silver Samurai. Can't talk. 2 Red Star Silver Samurai, and then on top of that, you get really almost no upgrades. Ouch.
out of 70 regular and probably 4 or 5 4s, couple of 5s, and a 6.
Quality game
It's,
mechanic there.
it's rough,
Man.
and there's nothing you can do, right?
Yep.
Just smile and wait. So I have decided, and I should have stopped earlier, but I just kept going. My streak has been forever at least 4. It used to be 5, then down we're to 4, now we're to 2. So I think they finally have increased my non-spending penalty a lot. So now even to red stars, only 2. So with the little that I have, I will try to get some on Lady Deathstrike, which I think is more important for the current situation. Then another mutant, for which I won't get the legendary for another 6 months. Is it a mythic legendary or
It
mystic?
is.
Okay, so it could take who knows how long to get to that point. So I'm not worried about it right now. Omega Red. I'll try to pull for him with whatever I have, but my focus is going to be on Lady Deathstrike. Okay. For Red Stars, I also mentioned that I wanted Shang-Chi the last time we recorded, which was over 2 weeks ago. And can you imagine what happened?
Oh, he shows up every day, I'm for sure.
After Cerebro listened to the show, he's like, nope. Make him spend money and maybe you'll see him. So I have 3 refreshes every day for 15, 16 days.
Wow.
That's how many chances, and not a single Shang-Chi. I have over 1,000 promo credits. So I don't have a problem spending them, but he just doesn't show up. And I think he will help a lot with the second skill node. Just the healing and the damage will be very important, and surviving. He's key. He's fast. The recharge is only 3 on the ultimate. So like that character a lot for a filler. I'm sure there's going to be something else that comes for that team, but for now he's doing a good job. And the last thing I did, not sure why I did this to myself, but I started looking at DD4. I think I had time off, maybe downtime. But I wanted to see if the Secret Avengers, now that I have them at tier 15, would perform at my 3 and 4 star levels. 3 on Sam, 4 on Sharon, 5 now on Maria. And they do. Sam especially holds up really well. So that tells you a lot about power creep, right? In terms of armor and health compared to some of the characters we had to use when going through them to DD4. So should be pretty easy if you're doing DD4 now compared to what we had to go through. But I'm sure the same thing will happen with DD5, right? First of all, trying to get there is going to be a disaster with the teal gear. And then it will take, how long? Has it been a year now of DD4? Almost a year?
I think it came out in November.
Yeah, so close to a year. When you finally get the clean answer, that's super easy. Not super easy, but it's a lot better with these superpower crap characters. So that's what a year does. 3-star character, just holding up on DD4, which is crazy. But that's it. As far as I can remember, some of the things, spending a lot of ISOs, gold, training mats, anything I can, gear, to get all these characters to be able to do Doom 2 and help the team. So Creative, what have you been up to?
I want to riff on your 3 red star, 3 yellow star Sam for just a second. And so we talked in the past that, and some, I forget who the people were, but they did a great graph of the power creep, power leap, starting around Kestrel and Silver Surfer and that spike. I will actually give Scopley a little bit of credit here, that... So they've done, one thing that we've talked about is they've nerfed character releases that, now we're seeing characters at 3 yellow stars, sometimes 4, and most have no possibility of getting to 5 unless it's certain events. But at the same time, they've power crept these characters so much that we can still use them in Dark Dimension 4. We could still use them in Doom 2, which is, the in-game content at this stage. Even at these low yellow star, red star levels, these characters are usable, which I was not expecting at all. I was really expecting most of these characters to get one shot and not. But the kits are so strong, their synergies are so strong, and their overall stats are so strong that they are in fact holding up. So even though they've nerfed these things, we can still do in-game content. Now, we definitely can't do the higher difficulties of Doom 2, and I doubt we'll be able to take these characters in very successful into Doom or to Dark Dimension 5. But at minimum, if we can use these characters in Doom 2, that means newer players can certainly use these characters to progress through a lot of the early game content. Can you imagine using these characters in Ultima 7? Like, I can't imagine anyone actually stops at Ultima 7 very long. They probably move on straight into Doom. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, right?
Remember, it was like BKT is what you would do back in the day.
Most people are like, what is this bacon, lettuce, what you talking about? BKT?
Wow.
Yeah.
With Minerva and Thanos and that stuff. Star-Lord was a thing you would use. And
Groot. Yep.
Yep, those were the days. I'm assuming some of these characters may be able to solo those nodes, like Silver Surfer. By himself can kill the board.
Yeah, we had went back to do a Ultimus, I think, raid just to reset our clock. And we were doing Doom, and I took an Infinity Watch, and, they just, sneezed and people fell over, so. But anyway, I wanted to riff on that a little. Yeah.
I did Dark Dimension 4 with the Infinity Watch. Now you can't use Adam Warlock because it's a legendary, but just slide in whoever there, and it was funny to see.
But the other thing I wanted to say is they've also screwed over early and mid-game players, though, because they basically introduced new constraints to them that they move so fast through those early things that they're not getting the ability gear, the ability T2 stuff, and they're probably running low on T3. They've kind of introduced some things without really thinking it through. So I've heard a lot of early mid-game players talking about new constraints, and I experienced some of those because I, jumped up to your level and was always out of those purple, diamond things. But anyway, what are you going to say?
No, so I think what you're saying about that is they're sort of introducing forced bottleneck to keep you in a certain content, which doesn't even make sense, but there's no other way to acquire that, right? Some of that stuff.
Right.
So you're kind of screwed.
Can you imagine?
Money?
You can clear Dark Dimension 3, but you can't level a character up past level 8.
Right, so this power leap allows that to happen, but then it hurts you on the other side because there's no way to bucket. So they should just give it to them, right?
I agree, absolutely.
What's the T2 blue? Who cares? Just make it go away.
Yeah, so we'll talk about some of these kind of weird things happening in the raids and the rewards in a little bit in the numbers section, but I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. For me, was there anything else you wanted to add to that? Sorry, I didn't.
No. I wanted to pass it on to you to see what you were up to.
Yeah, so it's probably been 2 weeks. I went ahead and did Gamora's 7th Red Star. So in traditional fashion, whatever team is the OP team that is working in Arena, I typically take the big character to 7 Red Stars. I hadn't done it for a while, let Gamora sit at 6 Red Stars, but I finally took her to 7. And part of the reason was there's a couple guys that had 7 Red Star Gamoras, and they would almost always one-shot my Phyla or one-shot my main dragon. And it's it was hard-coded in the game that if I go against those guys, one of those characters will get one shot, and then things just go down very quickly. So I went ahead and did it, and I will say that I'm sticking a lot more in Arena. I'm barely doing any fights and really not caring, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And I'm in the top 20 sometimes not even doing a fight. So I do think that Gamora Red Star, 7th Red Star, does make a big difference. We still don't know if Weapon X is going to counter them. We still haven't really seen a true counter. Maybe it's the rest of the new warriors. We don't know, but I still see value in it, and there's just really nothing else that I wanted to spend it on. So I went ahead and did that. Have you done that? Any commentary on that?
No, I was the first to say I think we need it, and there was like, no, and some people were saying it's a waste. So I ended up not doing it, and that's why I'm ranked 45 or whatever in Arena. It doesn't hold.
Yeah. I still think we've got 2 more months of Infinity Watch, so I think there is value there. But everybody each to their own. So for
well,
sure,
I mean, I'm trying to think what else would it be used on was part of the argument, and yeah, I think I've lost cores because of not doing it, and probably will never be used properly anyway. So I
Right.
think you did the right call, and it makes your life easier, and that alone is worth it. But yeah, I don't know. What else would we buy a 7th on?
Oh, I buy 7 red stars on a lot of characters. Unfortunately, I'm just never going to get the 7th yellow star.
Right, like I would say Kestrel.
Kestrel or Silver Surfer or Adam Warlock's probably going to be forever for me. And so there's a lot of characters that I would do it on, but
Sam.
yeah,
Captain
Sam. Oh, don't even get me
good
started
luck.
on that guy. But so there's a lot of characters I would do it on, but I'm not going to be anywhere near, or maybe ever in the next 6 months get to 7 yellow stars. So I felt like that was a good investment for me. So anyway, I want to share that tidbit. Like you, I have been spending easily 4 million a day. I've actually spent 7 million a couple days, just trying to.
7?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you had like 7,000 gold orbs somehow. I don't.
Well, I'll talk about that in a minute. So. Spending quite a bit, and this is just all about Doom 2 and bringing up characters. And as we suspected, all of the new characters are pretty much required to be able to do this. And so I did want to take some time and just go lane by lane or group by group, talk about what's working, what's not. So first and foremost, and I posted this in Discord, we started out trying to, everybody go down 2 different lanes and we strengthen numbers, and we got through the content fairly easily. We were surprised at how easily we got through it. So then we started doubling up lanes on each side, and we just found constraints. So we ended up throwing everybody to the left side. That's where the bio nodes start first, and then you get to skill, tech, mystic, I think, and then finally mutant at the end. So we threw everybody to that side. We're getting to 50% fairly easily. And now we're at a point where we have 6 people to the left side and 2 lone Beastie Boys that are going to the right side and getting to the second boss. And that's how we're hitting 60%. So just wanted to share that tidbit. So I think Evan B and some other people kind of commented, yep, everybody to the left is the new everybody mid that we had with Doom 1. So let's talk about teams. So from a bio perspective, I am shocked and amazed that the nodes are easier than Doom 1.1, especially the boss nodes. Now, it could be... they're the same. I was going to think I've leveled them more, but they've been at 83 this whole time before we went into Doom 2. So I've been able to... I do 4 attacks, 1 on each of the first 2 nodes, and 2 shot the boss, and usually don't have anyone die, or maybe... Black Bolt will kill somebody on the second node and have to res. But full symbiotes is the way to go as far as I can see. I've not seen anyone do anything else. Any commentary there, Frid?
Yeah, I had the baby bio, and I don't know if it's easier naturally or because I have them now at level 83 or 4 with blue ISO. But I can clear that whole section without a problem.
Yep.
So
yep.
It's
and
very
when you
interesting.
You were talking about Doom 1.1 that you had the left lane that started with bio.
The baby,
we called it the baby nodes or mini nodes. So anyway, symbiotes, of course, the answer for that. And mid-game players, you're still screwed. You can't get symbiote Spider-Man. You can't get anti-venom. So I don't know what people are going to do there. Except wait for them to come more farmable. from a skill perspective, the one thing, and I think they actually stole this from, you may have seen it elsewhere, but from Philosopher. He's doing Doom 2.2 and maybe even 2.3. He's using Secret Avengers, Shang-Chi, and Kestrel. And Shang-Chi was a surprise to me, but then I remembered how they, gave him his healing ability that he didn't really have. And that was really enough for him to really come through. You mentioned his speed earlier. So that team is doing fairly well. I have tried, or typically my Shang-Chi is not as big as Frid's because he got super lucky with the drops. So Shang-Chi will die, and I plug in any combination of Gamora and Moondragon or Red Guardian and Night Nurse, and I typically get through 2 nodes, but I can't do the boss node. So but again, commentary we've seen across the board, all these brand new characters not only are required, but are required at a higher yellow star level than what you get. Mystic, I actually don't think you need all the new warriors. I've had a lot of success with let me think of the team: Maw, Wallet, Silver Surfer, and Wallet is Adam Warlock. Silver Surfer, Doom, and then Deathpool. Those 5 can definitely get through those first 2 nodes and do some serious damage on the boss. I only have 3 yellow star cloak and dagger and haven't really leveled them up yet. But I'm having success through at least 2 of the nodes with that team, and a flavor of that team is working exceptionally well in a lot of the alpha raid nodes. I sub out Maw, put in Kestrel, and that team is really, really good and is destroying alpha. It's amazing how freaking easy alpha has become with Deathpool and those boss nodes. Any commentary on skill or Mystic, Frid?
Well, I'm surprised that Thanos and Maw are holding up. Were you?
No, I don't have Thanos. So Thanos will die within the first turn. As soon as he taunts, he gets killed. So Thanos is not there.
I think what's his name, Duartic or whatever, was saying he's using Thanos.
I don't know what he's doing then.
And he has it as a protector. Apparently it works.
Okay, well, I've got a 7 red star Thanos with Maw, and it doesn't work for me. So he gets focused. So he's probably not taunting, I guess, would be the first thing I would say. If you're going to use Thanos, don't taunt. Do whatever you need to do, but don't taunt. Because he just takes too much hits, and then Kestrel puts on defense down. It's there she wrote.
Okay. Well, I don't have Maw. I don't think at Blue ISO. Do I? I don't think so.
Yeah, I already had him at 5 ISO, green ISO. So it's just, one of each of the blues. So it was worth the investment to me.
And maybe, I'm focused on new warriors,
right.
So I'm not worried about it, but yeah.
Yep. Okay. And then tech, that one's a pain in the rear. We kind of stumble through it. I have been using Ultron because a lot of times Doom may die on the Mystic nodes. And I like Ultron there, and I only have 1 red star on him. I have no intention, or I'm not going to go open a bunch of orbs, not in a 15% release, and get him up. But I'm using him pretty well. I have taken Shuri up. That defense up is key in the beginning. I don't have Misty. I don't have the green ISO for her. And so I don't know if I can't take her, but that's one that a lot of people are using, Misty, along with the team that we used before. So if you have Doom, great. And Doc Ock, I'm blanking. Nebula sometimes, Shuri, Minerva, plug in whoever you can, cross your fingers. But I find those nodes incredibly difficult.
Yeah, Ultron, I don't think it's even 15. I don't know where he's at, but I can't see myself doing it.
Yeah, from a tech perspective, we're going to have Lady Deathstrike, but I've not had anyone... I have a plethora of tech mats, so I figured, what the hell. So I went ahead and did it. And then Mutants is the X-Men team. So I find It to be pretty challenging, particularly the second node. You have to get lucky with some of the assists. You have to have all of your abilities up. You got to get some stuns off, otherwise the dad bros roll you. But you have to have the X-Men up. You've got to level them at least to tier 14, and I would really say you have to go all the way. Kitty, sadly, I've seen too many people saying they could one-shot Doom 1.1 without Kitty, just like literally running 4 of them. But you really have to have Kitty for the offense down, sorry. So anyway, I want to cover that just so people can hear it. Certainly there's videos out there, and then in the past we've had people share the teams they're using. If you found something that works in tech, certainly let us and our listeners know, because it is a pain.
Now, what do you think compared to Doom 1?
Well, first and foremost is it's a much better layout. So it allows us to really use our team to the fullest. And so, we've got a couple Beastie Boys on the left side or right side that are doing what they need to do. And then the fact that the rest of us can just kind of pick each other else up. So like even tech, which stinks, you can go and kill one node and die on the second. Well, you've already taken all the ults and everything, and the next person can clear that. So I find that the layout is significantly better and allows us to, one, really feel like an alliance, which is nice because we still don't really have any modes to me that you can really, truly partnership around with your alliance mates. So, but I was a little surprised that, I don't want to say it was easy, but they used a lot of same combos that we've seen before, with the symbiotes and X-Men. It's kill the Greg or kill, whatever ad it is. To get the speed and all that kind of stuff. But I will say the Kestrels and the Silver Surfers are, good God, those are a pain.
Yep. No, that's what I was getting at. I think it feels like it wasn't as bad. Because I'm thinking here, oh my God, here we go. This is going to be a nightmare, right? We're going to get 20% if we're lucky. But it seems like we've been able to get a lot further and not feel as bad sooner than we did with Doom. But maybe it's in my head. I don't know.
No, I feel like we were much more successful earlier with Doom. So you have to think of a couple things. When we went into Doom 1, there was a whole new concept of you don't have one raid team, you have 5 raid teams. And so it took us a while to get a plethora of these characters up, whereas for Doom 2, we've already been in this mindset, in this mode, and there were already popular teams like symbiotes, like the X-Men, and some others that were used. So I feel like it's an easier transition from a roster perspective into that. Now, I will say I fully expect Doom 2.1 and certainly 2.2 just to bend us over. I don't think that's really going to be doable.
Right. I think that's where where they'll get us.
Yeah.
And also in the rewards, maybe. Well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah. So one of the other things I wanted to mention is I ran out of T14 skill pieces because, one, we've had so many darn skill characters. And so, the commentary is, well, did you open up your, Armory 14 orbs? Yes, all 500 of them. And I still cannot level up, who was it? Shang-Chi and Sharon Carter. They're not all the way because I have none of these stupid little rings. I forget what it's called, but the T14 skill mats are a serious problem. There's only one node to farm it. I farmed it 2 days in a row, and maybe one or none dropped. So I'm stuck at T14 gear, which is incredible, feels bad. And then I went through, I'm like, where the heck do we even get this Armory 14 orb? And you really get it from the standard daily milestones in World Warrior. So the energy one, the gold one. Now you get like a paltry amount of these. So maybe you get one orb every day, which there's 10 of these pieces. It doesn't drop a whole lot. So I mean, I'm really frustrated at that, and that led me to do some numbers on and some comparisons of some of the previous rewards. So I'll talk through that a little bit. But yeah, it's all been getting these teams up higher and higher. So that's kind of my summary. But any questions, comments, anything you want to add there, Fred?
No, I mean, would have known that a T14. I mean, the skill crunch has been crazy. So
yeah,
maybe that's part of it. But we'll see if I'll experience something similar in Mystic or Tech or Mutant. We'll see if I run out of T14s. I still have about 100 of those armories though, and I have Shang-Chi and Sharon both upgraded. So
Well, I think I've just had incredibly bad luck. So I'm looking through this. I have 364 of the nanites. That's the tech stuff. 200 of the molecular scans. That's bio. 200 of the pathogens, mutant. 400 of the lattices, which, a year and a half ago, I couldn't get a lattice for the life of me. And then I have a grand total of 11 of the performance tracker. So something definitely went awry with my pulls, because everywhere else I have at least 150. So I don't understand what they did to performance trackers, but I am hosed and I am frustrated. Because there is no easy way to get that, and there's no way I'm going to refresh a ding node that isn't dropping it.
I found it's unrelated, but it's thematically the same. I think it's support ISO green. There is one piece I have like 600, and then everything else I have 0 or close to it. Do you have something like that?
I have that in almost every one of the different types. I think Protector was probably the worst. I had like 600 of one and like 50 of another. But yeah,
I mean, it's like, how can it be so lopsided? It's kind of doesn't make sense. But
yeah, I'm just completely out of support. I mean, there's a couple slots where I've got 11 and I need 81 for a couple of these characters. So, yep, that's the other piece is to just run out of ISOs. And again, while you can make progress, a lot more progress now since they've doubled the drops and given you more options, it's still, you have to get to 81 of these, and we have a support character, control character always that I need to focus on. So feels bad.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that's enough of my gearing and leveling. And Fred, you seem to have a conspiracy corner item for us.
Yeah, I mean, we've been having to blitz a little bit because of the cloak and dagger, but I blitz. When was the patch? Was it this week or last week? This week, last week.
Last week.
I just have noticed that the selection, maybe it's because the characters that are out, also the thing they did with teal gear, just the selections are getting worse. I am losing matches that normally I don't lose. It could be the teal gear. I need to pay more attention, but I just think that every now and then they do stuff to tweak with Blitz and make it even less enjoyable, as if it was any kind of enjoyment. But it seems like it's made harder to get a good score. But I don't know if you've experienced anything like this. This seems like one that I've complained about before. Every now and then they seem to be messing with the algorithm, and we see this come back.
Well, I mean, the fact that they came out and said, oh, by the way, teal gear is going to make it worse, told you enough, right? So, I mean, they keep throwing Kestrels in. I see lots of Kestrels, see a lot of Silver Surfers, and then it's clear they don't want you to win so many matches. I mean, you get when you see Infinity Watch, Shield Kestrel, and then like the Axemen
or
Black
Order,
yeah, and you're like, what the hell? So I've seen a lot of really poor choices, and so I just don't care, and I lose and move on.
Yeah, I know. Like, what's her name? Deathpool gets thrown in there, and they sneak it in, and if you're not paying super close attention, it can get you. I'm like, what the hell happened? Why did I lose that? Oh, I see, like,
yep.
Deathpool or something that they snuck in. So, anyway, just a quick one, but it's still annoying that the horse mode in the game is made worse every chance they get to do it. So, I think you have some numbers for us, Creative. What have you been crunching up over there?
Well, so with the T14 pieces running out and with us switching to Doom 2, I always want to go back and look at things from a couple different perspectives. First and foremost, we try to be in the top 100 in the raid season, even though if you're 101 versus 100, all you get is 20 T4 pieces for 2 weeks, and it takes you 10 seasons just to get enough for one dinky ability, it's still something we strive for. So I'm always curious about season reward points, and then fundamentally, what are they giving us more of or less of when we switch from content? And I have to say, the rewards for D2 make no sense whatsoever. And this is the same thing we saw with going from Ultimus to Doom 1. It's just, I don't know if they're just asleep at the wheel or they have some crazy algorithm that they're getting. But, first and foremost, we're doing, Doom 2 normal difficulty 60%. Before we were doing Doom 1.1 100% every other day and, 80 plus the other day. So first and foremost, from a raid credit perspective, you barely get any more raid credits when you do Doom 2. This wasn't terribly surprising to me. We've got 300,000 of these credits. I wish they would give us something to buy, to be honest. But that's just kind of strange to me. T4s, you get the exact same amount as doing Doom 1.1, 100% to Doom 2, 60%. I found that very strange. So yet again, this is a currency that they intentionally got out of the way to make constrained. But I found that very strange. One thing that Doom 2 has that Doom 1 does not is the orange raid elite orbs, which in my opinion aren't really elite. You don't get any of those from Doom 1.1. You get them in Doom 2. And then vice versa. You don't get any of the normal orange raid orbs in Doom 2. But you get them in Doom 1.1. So that one, they're making the uniques slightly more available. That's fine. We shouldn't be constrained by those at this stage when we have a whole new set of gear to get. But do we really need them? No. So I found that kind of odd. The one that really perplexed me was Blue ISO. You get the same amount of Blue ISO orbs with whether you do 30% or 60% for Doom 2, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And you actually get less for doing Doom 2 60% than if you did Doom 1.1 100%. So that to me, excuse me, was very, very strange. So you make it a requirement to get into the raid to have Blue ISO, but you give us less once we actually get there. So that one was very weird to me. And then Armory 15, we don't get any from D2. So this one's a little concerning. Right now, it's not a constraint because we've had to focus them for so long. We've done Doom 4, we've gotten it from that, but we don't get any from Doom 2. So, and then certainly nothing from an Armory 14 perspective in either place. So I thought that was kind of odd. And then the other thing, golds. Certainly, I was expecting a lot more golds to come from Doom 2. It's the in-game content. You've got to level a lot of stuff up to get there. And you get the same amount of golds per node doing 1.1 versus Doom 2. Which means you actually get less golds from doing Doom 2 because we're not doing 100%. We're doing less nodes. So fundamentally, we actually have been hurt by going to Doom 2 in raid season points, Blue ISO, gold as well. So that was the strangest thing. And then the raid season points, I didn't talk about that. Let me cover that. We actually get quite a bit less points from doing Doom 2 60% than doing Doom 1.1 100% every other day. I mean, it was at least 80K per raid. So I don't know if they're asleep at the wheel. They're trying to send us to flip back and forth between Doom 2 and Doom 1. I don't know, and I don't get it. It just seems very strange to me. It should be very clear. In-game content, you should get better rewards. So I was very perplexed about this and what's going on. But we saw this exact same thing when we switched from Ultimus to Doom 1 way back in the day. What are your thoughts, Frid?
Didn't they promise some sort of... They made it a point to say that it was going to be better or equivalent or something they were going to do. I can't remember.
The season points is what they were. They actually nerfed Doom 2 season points. I think that it was too high. So those that were there got there. So they nerfed Doom 2 for whatever reason.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't understand why. And there was something else that was taken away. I can't remember that if I heard some of the criticism, but some of those things we were talking about, like T2s or T3s that don't matter, should just be when you complete this, you get like a whole bunch, like 1,000. I don't know, some number, so that you can clear that bottleneck forever, since we don't need it if you're doing this kind of content. But it's surprising. It's not surprising. I mean, at this point, we're used to this, right? This kind of
lowered expectations.
Yeah, like okay, you're not gonna get. When do you start seeing? Did you find out when? Do you actually see an increment? Like more stuff?
I mean, I didn't do a ton of research, just really kind of looked at our scenario, but certainly when you go to difficulty 1, things do improve a bit. And of course, the one thing we didn't talk about is, yes, we're getting a paltry amount of these teal orbs, or teal gear orbs. But when you get to Doom 2.1, you are better off than 1.1. But I found that kind of strange. You're supposed to be a jump. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think we've seen this before, so nothing new here.
Yeah. So I'm perplexed at this. Maybe some of our listeners can chime in on Discord, tell us what they think there. But I am worried that Scopley is pretty much forcing people to play older content just because they're gear constrained at different levels across the game. Now, Fred, we didn't cover this in the gearing and leveling, but I have a question for you. I didn't put this in the notes, so this is off the cuff. How many pieces of tier 16 gear, the teal slots, have you installed on your characters?
That's funny. I haven't checked today, but the last time I checked, it was none because I didn't have enough to do any.
And that would be of me as well. So I lost several days because of going camping, but the answer is absolutely none. So, yeah.
Are you close to any?
No. So this is where I wanted to talk to you. So, each of the pieces that has the requirement of teal gear, you have a slot where you have a particular catalyst, a focus, a damage, or whatever. And it takes 100 of those. And I'm looking through all of my gear right now, trying to figure out if I have anything remotely close to 100. And of course, I buy the pieces from the War Store every day and buy stuff from the Gold Store. So this is another part of the massive spending. I think the highest one I have is 53 at focus. Everything else is 30 or 40. So it's been 2 weeks, and I have installed 0 pieces. So let's do some off-the-cuff math here, because this isn't written down. But most characters have one slot that does not require the tier 15 pieces. But you have 5 other slots. So in 2 weeks, I have not been able to install 1 piece, much less 5. So let's just say magically something improves, and in 4 weeks, I can install 1 slot on 1 character. So it's going to take me a month for 1 slot, and this is, of course, not a valid math, because I'm getting catalysts for the other pieces while we're doing this. But I'm just getting to the point of it's taking a month to install 1 piece, and then it'll be 2 weeks to install another piece, 2 weeks another piece. But again, we've got to do 20 characters. I feel like this is significantly worse than before, but I always hate this stuff and it really grinds me. I don't know your perspective. We probably need to go back and look at the math we did from a T15 perspective, where it was originally somewhere around the neighborhood of 11 months, and then they can release some of the handcuffs, and then it was 8 months, and release some more of the cuffs, and it got down to I think 6. But this is feeling as long, if not longer than that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they're going to keep this stranglehold. I don't know that we did the numbers this early because we probably weren't even looking at, DD3 or DD4 when it immediately came out. We kind of said, forget it. And then by the time we started looking, it was probably loosened up already a little bit. Mm-hmm. This is for that race, right? They want to get the money out of the philosophers of the world. The $10,000, whatever it is he spends a day. Probably a month. But they're trying to get that money so that they could do the race, and I don't, you'll get a bunch from that, I suppose, right? From clearing DD5.
Yeah, I mean,
You'll
so
get,
those top 50 character players, I should say, players that go out and spend, I mean, it's got to be at least $20,000. It's
yes,
got to
whatever
be.
it is.
So, they're keeping the game afloat for the rest of us that are refusing to spend any. So, to you guys that do that, kudos. But at the same time, why? I just don't understand that personally. But
And so we'll have to wait for them to release it and the race to be over, which may take a week for those guys.
well, remember
Actually,
we
no.
talked about Dormammu wasn't even remotely ready. So, I, I don't know when they're going to actually release Dark Dimension 5 at this point.
How long did the race take? Do you remember?
It took a lot longer this time around. I remember several people getting stuck for like a week plus
Yeah,
in a
so
couple places.
it's not a week. It could be a whole month of that, and
Yeah.
so we may be looking at January for some of the shackles to come off so that we can realistically see some progress. And then, which all we care for us is more about the, not Dormammu, but the raid, right? To have
Yeah.
the teal gear. But I mean, it's got to be dramatic for us to, you're talking about one piece a month.
Yeah. So I just want to see if you were. I wasn't completely off my rocker, so I'm glad you validated that this is so low as dirt. Okay.
Yeah. And what about the uniques? I know they're in there, the miasmas and all that stuff, right? I've seen it in there.
Yeah, I bought a couple of them, but I mean,
How many do you need though? Isn't it 25?
18.
18?
18 of an item that we have 0 of to begin with. So you need 100 of these catalysts, you need 18 of those uniques, and then the math on the other pieces is anywhere from 48 to 40 to 36 of the different what do they call that? The unique gear? No, not unique. It's the origin gear. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot. I have, it's been a year since tier 15, and I had forgotten the pain in that game.
Well, I think, like I said, we were still doing like Ultima 7 or something, so we really didn't need.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't looking at DD4. So by the time we looked, I think we were okay. But I'm going to look here right now. Let me see. Yeah, I'm looking at the characters that are 15, and none of the slots are lighted up.
Yeah, I found like Infinity Watch, all of them had one slot that you can put in like orange gear, like, T13 kind of stuff. And then Phyla had 2. So I did all those, but
Gamora has a green piece. That was
right.
shocking. Like
so, yeah, it's all armor, by the way,
Yeah.
which is further annoys me because armor was like the one thing I had plethora of at the orange level. But anyway, I thought I would share that, or at least make sure I wasn't going off my rocker there.
Yeah, I have I'm looking at Sam, 2 vibranium out of 18. I mean, that's gonna be. Then titanium alloy, 3 out of 18. Yeah, this is a long journey.
Yep. And so we'll say what we always say, which is there's a whole group of people that are going to go spend $20,000 to race to get through Dark Dimension whenever it comes out, and they're already doing the race right now, so they could always win their wars and push to Doom 2-3, and that's what they want to do. That's fine. That's their that's their bag. They go for it. For the vast majority of the player base, I'm doubting a whole lot of them are even doing Doom 2 at this point. But for the rest of us, the answer is always focus on the characters that give you the most value. What's going to help you in arena? What's going to help you in raids? Those are things that happen every day. Then you really look at the Dark Dimension kind of stuff. So if you magically have gotten enough of a particular piece, make sure you're putting it on characters that will give you the most value, because it is a long, long time to get this stuff. All right. With that, why don't we close out the show with the news? And yet again, it's another week, it's another episode, a new character, and another set of quote-unquote text fixes. so they don't actually have to fix code. This isn't any new kind of thing. We've just seen it now for at least the last 4 months. They're not going to fix characters, and if they accidentally gave a character healing, well, we're just going to add that into the kit. So none of that is new, but it's strange how Scopley is justifying how they're doing this. So there was a note added to the details of Silver Rise to why they were changing the kit, and it said, a quick developer's note, which I'll always laugh when they say it's developers. Most developers I know would not be writing anything like that goes to a customer. They're writing code. So anyway, quick developer's note. When these characters are tested internally, they are put to the test with how they function and thus why the ability text is changed, not the other way around. This is the most asinine thing I think I've ever heard. So you test how they work, yet the text doesn't actually match. So then you go change the text to match how they're supposed to function. I don't get it. If you're testing what they're supposed to do, you would have already caught this stuff.
It's like reverse requirements or something.
I'm like, we clicked the button and they did some things. It looked good to us.
Let's change the functionality of our app to match what it actually does.
We test how they function. I think what they were trying to say is we just go click the buttons and we see what happens, and then we go, that doesn't match. So it just perplexed me with that statement. So
it's funny.
Yeah.
It's not, but it's, what can you do but laugh at this stuff? It's, oh my goodness. But yeah, so I mean, I guess but remember when they were trying to fix, that was even worse.
Yes, yeah.
So we'll take this instead, where they just say, okay, well, it does this cool thing that was not part of the plan, but we'll take it just because, you know, it does it. So, okay, we'll take that.
Okay. I wasn't really going to talk much about it. You know, all these war changes have now been out there for a while. Go ahead.
I just don't. War. I was talking to Vroom, our old captain, and he's not liking war. I'm like, man, if you
don't like war, then we're in trouble.
I know. But I said I've never been a big fan of war, period. And I don't know who or what these changes were for. But now it seems like it just takes maybe longer or maybe not. I don't know, because you get more energy at first. I don't like the mode, so it's hard for me to opine objectively. But maybe you like it more than me. What do you think of these changes?
Well, let me ask you this. Have you found any fights that you went in and you thought you were going to win, but you forgot to factor in now it's like 3 levels of buffs and you lost, or no?
No.
Okay. So from an average everyday player, you can still go in and do what you're trying to do. You change a little the strategy to go after cargo bay and hangar, but you're not seeing a tremendous difference, is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
It's the same fights. There are more fights. There's some weird... no, not enjoyable, but it's the same stuff, right? We've been doing for a long time.
Yeah, my biggest thing is we knew why they added the additional 2 rooms, and we did the math, and it was like 25% of our roster was really being used on defense, and so you had 75% of your roster, which in reality is only about 50% of your roster to win war, and that's why we were always easily clearing, whether we were attempting to or not. We would end up clearing by the end of the war. With these changes, I don't think that really changed anything, to be honest, because most people are still just checking in some 300k team, which is fairly easily beaten because they're all old. So I don't see any difference in the clear or not clear. I think still at this stage, it's really the broken Heroes for Hire team. And you know, when you see an 800 plus K Heroes for Hire, it's like, okay, thanks. You know, we only have a couple people that can actually, you know, take those things out. So I still think it's Heroes for Hire is more impactful than these changes.
What do you think of being able to see 4 deep into the enemy?
I want to see the whole thing. I don't understand. I just don't, you know, the whole thing was about letting us tack when we want. And so 2 more slots, great. Just let us tack anything.
Just to find the one you want and just do it, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
thing about hiding that there's no strategy for that. It doesn't matter. It's the same teams anyway, but some we're more comfortable with, we're more geared towards, and then you have to wait. But it gives you more options, so there's that.
I will say that this new war and Doom 2 are requiring more game time. So one is you have more attacks. That's easy. Everybody
Mhm.
can understand that requires more time for war. The other thing that I'm finding is yes, you have 4 slots. You can do more attacking, but you get energy now more frequently, and so you technically, if your team is trying to win, you have to log in more readily and more reoccurring. Instead of every 3.5 hours, it's every 2 hours that you're getting energy. So not only do you have more attacks up front, but you have to log in every 2 hours to get that energy. So I'm seeing more game time there. And then from Doom 2, unless you're beastly guy, you are likely going to get stuck somewhere in your lane. And so I find that I fight till I die, and I have to come back, and thankfully someone freed me up, so I go fight another one that I'll get stuck or not. So I'm finding both Doom 2 and War are now requiring actually significantly more game time for me. What's your feeling?
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. It's more of something, which means you have to spend more time on it. But I'd still check, do my attacks, move on, not enjoy it necessarily. What do you think of, and I haven't been paying attention to the war ready. That's a good point. Maybe that's part of a challenge that I haven't even considered. But what
Well,
I
a
was
lot
going to
of the
say is,
teams, yeah.
what do you think of practice mode? Did you know they snuck this in? Have you tried it?
So yes, so we knew that they snuck it in. I mean, they called it out as some of the benefits that were going to come. I have not tried it because I'm still doing so many more fights in Doom 2. I don't have any time for that, so I've not tried it out. The one as soon as I read the tagline that said it doesn't include X buffs, then I was like, well, you've lost a lot of the value for me
Mm-hmm.
because I would want to see a war ready team with all these extra buffs to see how much more I need to punch up or not. So to me, it lost a lot of value when they did that. But I've not tried it, so maybe it's better than that. But there's only 1 or 2 fights that I really want to try anyway.
Yeah, I haven't tried it, so I don't know.
Here's another question for you. Have you tried out? So we've got save slots for regular whatever, blitz, arena, war, raid. Have you gone through and optimized all of those tabs?
No.
Neither have I.
There's so much work to copy and move. Now, I have added a couple of the teams for Doom 2,
Yes.
but the Blitz, I get confused with the regular roster
Yeah.
because to me, those are kind of the same. I don't know why there's two there, which is interesting that I'm asking for less tabs. But Arena, definitely haven't done anything there because there's only one team. And what's the other one?
War.
War. Yeah, I haven't dealt with that at all. So
Yeah, haven't touched War, haven't touched Arena. Raid, I just added a couple teams for Dark Dimension 2, deleted practically everything else. And then I don't really do the normal one, I just do the Blitz one because it's basically the same to me. So I was just kind of curious because it takes way too much time, even with the things that they've done.
to
But I
try
found
to
that funny.
manage through it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's funny. It takes so long for something we ask for that by the time we get it, we're like, well, I guess we don't care anymore.
Well, we care. We just don't need tabs for every game mode. I mean, it just doesn't add a lot of value. So as long as you've got one tab that's cleaned up and has all your teams, and then whether that be Blitz or the normal,
Mhm.
and then you do a little bit for raid, you're really fine. I know people have gotten really creative, and they do. The arena tab they use for like war offense or war defense, so they can easily check things in and out. And war offense, obviously, they do the war teams, but I just don't have the time or bandwidth to do that. So,
You have
okay.
to go in there and, yeah, you set all that stuff up. It's a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What else? Well, so we're running a little long. Obviously, we haven't done a show for a while, so I have no issues going a little over. I wanted to close out with Still Haven't Heard, and then maybe some quick commentary on Marvel Future Revolution. What do you think, Fred?
I did we talk about, and this could be quick, the pay to win costumes last time. I forget if we covered it or not. We might have. I think the
Mm,
event came after.
yeah, the event came after. You're talking about Weapon
Wolverine,
X?
yeah, Weapon X, how they went full whale. What does it remind us of? That lunar event that was crazy. And I think the Battle Pass now also has a pay only costume. So, what do you think? Do you care? I mean, I know you don't care about costumes.
I was
What do
gonna
you
say.
think of? I think it's the typical, like, at first they, come out outrageous. Like Elektra costed like $100, and Captain Marvel's the change from you know her rainbow color, I guess, to green was like $50.
Hmm.
Then they went the other direction, which is more like, oh no, no, we'll make it friendly. Everybody gets these costumes for free. And now they're back to no, we want to charge you for it, so they make them almost impossible to get. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna repeat what we talked about over Discord earlier in the week. And so to me, I was very hopeful that costumes were going to give them the opportunity, another a revenue stream, and that if they monetized it, they can then cut back on the over monetization of the rest of the game. Unfortunately, they just doubled down and said, "I want more of your money, player base," and so they
across the board.
across the
Yeah.
board, right? So we've got battle passes, we've got strike passes, and now they want to charge you for costumes. So I had hoped that that would ease some of the tension with the player base and ease some of the ridiculous pricing. Unfortunately, they just see it as a completely new revenue stream to get more money out of people. So as soon as they did that, I stopped caring. So to me, that's where it is, and this is the continual direction. And so I don't see Scopley caring about the player base there, and it's not something I care about. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would have loved to see that Weapon X costume and thought it was pretty cool, but yowzers, that
It's
was
a lot.
quite steep.
Yeah.
So I mean, this was
Thousands
all
of
about
people.
just rewarding the people that were going nuts with teal gear and other stuff. So
Well,
you know,
if there was something running which would require, you know, you to spend cores, like an event or
mm-hmm.
something,
Yeah.
then maybe. But these offers were also awful. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh yeah,
The
they're bad.
core
Yeah.
offers were a joke.
Yeah.
Anyway, just thought I threw that in there because, again, another one of those doubling down on more money.
Mm-hmm. Well, and think about last time. I'm trying to remember what characters it was. Whatever characters were required for the last legendary. We spent cores to get those, and they had one of these events running that they had to apologize for and lower the numbers. They didn't even
That
bother
was
this
the
time
lunar
around.
event. That's the one I
That's
was
what it
talking about.
was, lunar event.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So this is about them getting more and more money out of the whales, and the whales want to keep spending. So let those two work it out. I don't really care.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, still haven't heard. I was, talked at length about several topics that we have actually gotten updates on. But at this point, there's still been no announcement about bio characters to help with the Doom raids. And at this point, we're able to do normal. We're going to run into the same problems in higher levels. We did get a tech character and Lady Deathstrike. It's not clear if that's going to be enough. I mean, her kit is crazy, but it's not clear to me if that's going to be enough. Plus, we'll probably have low yellow stars. Still no rework on Grey Greed orbs. Still no rework on purple and orange raid gear orbs. All those are pretty much trash. And then, of course, the most important, the Secret Avengers. The majority of them are still not farmable. So Maria took the War Store, which was pretty shocking to me that they put her in the War Store. So how are they going to screw us over on Sam and Sharon? What do you think, Fred?
I mean, I'm in trouble, but I guess single node, 20 cost, the last day of the before the event. I mean, that's the only thing I can see. I thought maybe Sharon will go to an easier, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason they would constrain Sharon. To me, she's the least impressive. She's got some cool moves, but
she's got some damage, right? And has some
yeah.
debuffs, but
Yeah.
So there's like a 600 damage thing, but yeah, you could maybe. What's the? Let's see. What have we done that sucks? The arena thing is not gonna be. They just put whoever it is in there.
Phyla.
Fine. What a screw. That's why I don't remember. So I'm still
Because
bitter.
we're not farming it because it's in the orb.
I had to get her to 5.
That's
so
what they're gonna do. They're gonna put Sam in the arena orb. Oh god.
Phyla comes out.
Oh man, that'd be pretty shocking.
So maybe a node for Sharon and Sam into the arena orb so quickly.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
Yeah. Oh, they could. They've said they've done away with the milestone, but that could be another thing. They're like, hey, we'll throw it in that one. That would suck.
Mm-hmm.
The one where Emma is, given that Emma is in the strike pass or battle pass, whatever pass.
Battle.
They could do that. It's literally not farmable, though.
I just think they painted themselves in a corner. There's nowhere else they can put things in. And we've run out of nodes practically. They've not released a new campaign in forever. Mm-hmm. So we're really running out of spots. They're certainly not going to put anybody in the Blitz store. We had White Tiger come through there. Raid store, I think they could do that because it's a very constrained store. Odds are pretty bad there. War Store's already covered. So I think it's the Arena Orb. That's probably where I'm going.
Oh, so
what's
you think
the most pain?
Raid store without changing anything else is so watered down that you just never see it.
Yep.
That's a good call.
I love how we're describing how they're going to bend us over so casually.
Like it's not. Well, there's no way. Like Sam is going to be a super held back. I mean, they don't want to have.
At this rate, maybe he's going into the milestone orb because Emma now is, battle pass. So maybe they take her out and put Sam in there.
Yeah,
but you can't. That would be truly because the only time they did that was Yo-Yo, and there was already another option, right? We had.
There you go. You just said it. That's where he's going.
But he can't be. You have to make him really farmable. You can't put him in an orb only thing. Because, I mean, there's no way.
You replace Anti-Venom and put him there. Sam. Oof. That's it. Ouch. You think that's not considered fountainable? Okay.
No, that's definitely not.
All right.
The player base would revolt at that. Hopefully. They would revolt at
that. Let's say a final. I think Sam's going to go to a single node, and then Sharon will go to maybe the raid store. I don't know. We'll go with that.
Okay. Either way, it's not looking good. We have no information whatsoever, and we've got, maybe 2 weeks or so? I forget the date, but we've got 2 weeks or so. So, not looking good. We normally are, well ahead of the game on these things, using cores and other things, but we've had no options, particularly with Sam, as he was only in the battle passes. All right. Well, we've gone way over, and I've got to edit. Go ahead.
Should still talk about this last topic for a second, or do you really need to go?
What's the last topic? Remind me.
Future Revolution.
Yeah, go ahead. What the heck?
So, all I hear is it's dying, people are quitting, whales are mad, there's no end game, and they released some new patch that made a bunch of people mad, apparently. I have been trying some of that content, but I go at a slower pace than you ever did, right? So I don't clear it right away. And I've struggled through the content. I've done maybe half of it. And one of the things they did that was unusual is normally when they release a new content, it would get you to the max level, right? So think of, we're at level 85 now on Strikeforce, the max. So the new content would allow you to get to level 85 just by going through the normal missions. Well, they changed that with this patch in which you now have to, the levels only get you like 3, maybe 2 levels. and the rest is this massive grind in the dark zone, which is a mode that's limited to 1 hour a day.
No, well, no, you're right. You're right. 1 hour a day. You're right.
Of fun-filled grinding. The same bosses over and over again, avoiding getting killed by other players, and yeah, it's like some slow percent per hour. So somebody did the numbers. It takes a while. Even some of these content creators were not max level a couple of weeks after it was released. Which I guess, Strike Force takes months, but at least you can get it from the content that's there, not having to do this other activity. So anyway, I joined some alliance that seem pretty advanced, but all I do is the donation. I do some of the most wanted to get costumes, but I have been lamenting and complaining to creative that I feel like there's no progress. I could go a week with my character, the power number not moving, being the same number.
Yep.
Because I get no cores, I get no cards, I get no costumes after a week of work. Doing, probably the minimum, maybe a little more than the minimum. So, what are your thoughts on this game, and whether you're gonna continue playing?
Well, so it came out when I went camping. So I came back and I'm like, what the hell is going on? I was so thoroughly confused. I have an alliance that people are spending a lot of money in, playing very hard. And I came back and no one was even close to 110. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? This is so it took me, you kind of gave me some tidbits, watching some videos. I was perplexed to say the least at this. I have cut down, I play for about 15 minutes a day. And I'm only doing the donation and doing the raid because I wanted to finish off the 4th trait for Doctor Strange. And I cannot get enough of a particular thing. And I think I'm quitting or giving up basically the next day or so, because even by doing that, spending the extra crystals, I can't get anywhere near enough. And then, of course, at 80% success rate, I failed 3 times and through my phone. So that was the last thing.
I think you're talking about this mechanic that's called specialization.
Yes,
that
yes.
requires all these rare materials that are trickling in, very precious. And in Strike Force, when you say, I want to craft this piece of gear, you just get it, right? Well, this specialization says use all the materials and gold probably. It'll get consumed, but there's a 80% chance that it will work. So 20% it doesn't work, and you just wasted all that and got nothing.
And it says 80%, but it's a higher chance than that. Some secret numbers. This would be like in Marvel Strike Force, if you wanted to do a T4 to an ability, and you started getting percent chances, and at 80% right, it didn't work. And so we get a lot more of the ability T4s than we ever did. But in the past, imagine how slow that was, and then trying to do it and fail. So that's a terrible, feels bad mechanic. And so I've just gotten kind of turned off by that. And then I spent all of 2 minutes doing the new questing, and like every quest was you got to kill 50 guys instead of 20 or 30. And I'm like, oh geez, this is going the wrong direction. So yeah, I don't I won't uninstall the game likely, but I'm just gonna see what happens here with this new content coming up.
Is there more coming?
Oh yeah. So they have like a true raid kind of crawl, a lot of where, unfortunately, it's again the 1 to 4 players. So I was really looking forward to the big alliance going in and doing some kind of crazy boss fights, but it's still 1 to 4. But they have some new, more true instance dungeon type crawl thing. But you can only go. It's more weirdness like. I don't remember some of the weirdness to it, but so they're introducing that. That's not enough for me. I'm still turned off by the volume of cards, the volume of armor pieces, etc. that you have to have just to increase one level. And we did some of the math before the show, and it's it's Dark Dimension level grind to get just 1 star level higher on gear. So
yeah, you're talking a month, several months to
no,
get
like a year.
yeah, like a year, close
So
to a year to get anything meaningful done.
yeah. So that's turned me off. I mean, it's very very sad. I think the game, one, it has a lot of potential. The volume of fixes that they released out in the patch were phenomenal. There's a couple things from a Doctor Strange perspective that would kind of break the game. They fixed those. They've been responsive to changes in terms of fixing things. But just this is the mobile game over monetization, the RNG aspect of things. I'm just not going to spend money on RNG, so that's just me. But
I am surprised at how quickly though this has happened, right?
I'm not. So a couple things. This is a mobile game. While they took an MMO and they put it into a mobile game, they did a lot of things to ease a lot of the grinding that you would typically do. It's still a mobile game. So you're still going to have the people that are very casual on a game, and you're going to have the very hardcore people. But I find in mobile games that the player base is much more casual overall and much more apt to leave for these types of things. The propensity to spend many, many months to go do stuff is very minimal, in my opinion, most mobile games. You think about Marvel Strike Force, it doesn't have that many people to play the game. So
right.
There's not many people that put up with this level of pain.
Only some of us endure
Only those ridiculous people.
For this long. Yeah. Well, I just thought it would have, a good few months, but it seems like a quick turn. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I don't know if the game's really dying. I always look at my friends list. It got to the point where I was deleting so many that it wouldn't let me delete anymore. I felt that was a pretty bad sign.
No, I have that. I had to do that, to do a purge of all those people that don't log in.
Yeah, but I had to delete so many. It said you can't delete anymore today.
Yeah, today it's like 5 or 6 a day, and then you can't do anything.
So we'll see. I mean, we're on the Mega server, which I think is ultimately, if we had to do this again, I would just go play the game a little bit on the Mega, and I'd go to the other servers. I think the other servers probably are better off. There's a lot of angst. The Half Sin guy, he's done just a whole lot of videos, and I really like a lot of his content. But he seems to be getting berated from the community because he spends money. It's very very odd. I will never do that. It's fine that people want to do that. I've told our listeners I don't recommend you do that kind of stuff. But he gets kind of get attacked. So there's just a lot of weird stuff.
Oh, I don't know about this. I'm not familiar with this drama.
Oh, like the last 4 things he's done, like every time he goes on a diatribe of like, why the hell are you attacking me? People call him out in like general chat in his alliance, which is X-Force.
That X-Force stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of crazy stuff. And I heard like they were trying to give out people's real information, real world information and stuff. I'm just like, whoa, this is a video game, people. If you don't like it, go away. But there's a lot of angst, and I talked about it when we did the PvP game modes. It's not fun, right? You go in, you wave at the whale, he presses one button, and you die. So that pisses off a lot of people, and that feel that that's shouldn't be the game mode. Right. So anyway, there's a lot of drama going on. There. So,
well, we'll see what happens. It's fairly new. There's always ways to continue, turn it around, or maybe it's not bad, and we're just kind of have the pain from MSF and say not again. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you this. I've been playing The Last of Us Part 2 on the PlayStation. That's a game was like $25, and no monetization, just play the game.
Phenomenal game. Got a lot of first one and then certainly the second one. So
yes. So anyway, I started doing that here. Finally got really well settled with the setup. So cranking up the PlayStation, some of those games that I wanted to play for a long time.
Excellent. We'll have to get a gaming party.
That's right. All right. Well, this has been an extra large, supersized episode because of Creative's fault of going away and having a life. We had to do this, but if you've stuck around for this long, we appreciate it. And if you want to continue talking to us, even after this extra large episode, you can find us on the Discord. Is probably the best bet in terms of finding us. Keep the conversation going over there. Where else can they find us, Creative?
Give us reviews on Apple Podcast and then Twitter, YouTube, you name it, we're there. But Discord's probably the best place. So thanks, everybody, for sticking around. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Talk next week.